Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. A deal to sign Viktor Gyokeres from Sporting has finally been agreed. I thought it was going to take the whole week before we come to any sort of agreement, but we have so many confirmations. So let's go through all of them, and let's start with David Ornstein, who's just reported that agreement in principle reached for Viktor Gyokeres' move from Sporting to Arsenal. Deal worth 63.5 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons. So that is 73.5 million euros, which is around 64 million pounds when you add the add-ons. So it's like 56 million pounds first, and then we'll give them 8 million in add-ons later on. And the Sweden strikers representative waives fee to help facilitate 27-year-old making Sporting and Arsenal switch. So this was Arsenal did not budge at all. I didn't think Arsenal were going to budge at all. Sporting also did not budge at all. The agent is the one that has come and helped us conclude this matter. Is decided not to accept the, I think it's like almost 9 million the agent fee, and he's decided to give that money for Arsenal to complete the deal. So that is absolutely incredible how much Gyokeres and his camp have pushed for this move, and they've not just pushed for a move from from Sporting to any team. They've pushed for a move from Sporting to Arsenal. So they could easily have said, okay, we want him to leave Sporting, but we don't care which team he's going to, just any team, as long as he leaves Sporting. But no, they've pushed and they've made sure that he's going to join Arsenal, which is absolutely incredible. So for us to get that money, that deal done for that kind of money, it's incredible, because for me, I thought you were going to have to pay, something like 80 million pounds plus some add-ons. And on top of that, I thought you're going to have to pay him like maybe 280,000 per week or something. But the fact that you're paying only 56 million pounds at front, and then later on 8.5 million in add-ons, and on top of that only paying him around 200,000 per week, that is an absolute steal, man. Considering, I think Man United have paid more for Cunha, and players these days are going to go for 70 million, 80 million. So that is an absolute steal for someone who scored 95 goals in 2 years, and on top of that he has close to 30 assists, way more than 120 goal contributions in just like 100 games. That is absolutely phenomenal from Gyokeres. So for him to push for a move that much, he's already a fan favorite, because we've seen how much we've cried for a striker. Sesko, all of a sudden it wasn't possible. Isaac, all of a sudden it wasn't possible. And there's not too many strikers out there that can improve our team as much as we want us to improve. You can get to the strikers. Yes, Watkins would be a good striker. He'd probably score more than what we have right now. But you want a striker who's going to take it to the next level. A striker who's, just heading into his prime and has been scoring those goals every single week. You see how comfortable players like Yamal and Rafinha and Lewandowski and Dembele and this the duel, these guys are used to scoring goals every single game because of that, because they're used to scoring goals. So whenever they come up against whichever team in the semi-final or the final, they're just going to score the goals. They're used to scoring the goals. For us, when you put us in that position against PSG in the semi-final, no one has scored more than 5 goals that season. You're not sure who you want the chance to land to. There's so many games where you watched and you're like, okay, who do you want the chance to go to? Havertz, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. We're not sure, because no one has really been, putting up those numbers every single season. The closest we have is Saka, and apart from that, we are so far behind in terms of depending on someone. At least now we know that when Gyokeres gets a chance in that box, he's going to score. At least now the rest of the team around him, they know we have someone in the box who, if I pass the ball to him, 9 times out of 10, he's going to score a goal. He's going to create for you as well. He's very good at assists as well. So that is the kind of player we've needed. And for that price overall, I think that will be a steal. So a big, big deal, man. And I thought it was going to be a deal that was going to take us a long time, and it's going to be a lot of teams there, Madrid, there's Barcelona, Chelsea, Man United have been there, but no, it's literally been coast clear for us to get this deal done. And we're hearing that he might be available for the Asian tour. A big chance of him being available. That is big. Now let's go through all the other updates. Now that was from David Ornstein. This is from Sami Mokbel, who said Arsenal to reach full agreement with Sporting over the 73.5 million euro signing of Viktor Gyokeres inside 24 hours. Deal now in place with minor details being resolved. Parties working towards Gyokeres being part of Arsenal tour of Asia at the end of the week. So the players are currently in Spain. They are going to come back to England and then travel to Singapore and Hong Kong to play against AC Milan Newcastle and Tottenham. So that is why you wanted Gyokeres to be there. Now we also have another game next week, on the weekend against Watford, a behind closed doors game. For that one, he might not be available because he has to come and do all the formalities this week. But hey, this deal is pretty much done. All the minor things, as Sammy Mokbel has said, there's just the minor things to sort out. The main thing that was giving us a problem here is or was to agree a fee with Sporting, because I knew Arsenal were not going to add money to make it like 75, 80 million, and Sporting were not going to move. The way the president talked yesterday, he said, listen, he almost basically said, you might as well kill me because I'm not going to let this player go for less than this money. Don't care what the gentleman's agreement was. You have to pay me this money to get Gyokeres. And he said he's not going to be bullied. He's not going to be blackmailed. He said all of these things. He said you have to pay me the money to get the player. So that became a matter of, it became a bullying game basically. Who's going to be the chicken first? Is it going to be Arsenal? Is it going to be the Sporting president? And it was almost a game of ego as well. So there's no one who'd want their ego and reputation ruined, because if Arsenal ended up paying that 80 million, Andrea Bata and the rest of Arsenal would feel like, oh my goodness, we brought in Bata to help us negotiate, and we were supposed to pay 60 million, and all of a sudden we've paid 85 million, basically been bullied. And if the Sporting president said all of that and then a day later he said, okay, you know what, that's fine, you can pay me the 60 million, you can have the player, that would be, you basically have lost that battle, and there's no one who would want to look that bad in terms of the transfer window, in terms of pride. So luckily the agent has stepped up and has helped us complete this deal. Now another update, this time from Florian Plettenberg. He says VIKTOR Gyokeres to Arsenal is considered a done deal. Full agreement in principle with Sporting has been reached now, 63.5 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons after the Athletic. Gyokeres on the verge of signing a contract until 2030. He only wanted Arsenal after one very good phone call with Mikel Arteta, as reported. So that is great. The fact that he only wanted to join Arsenal, no other team. I never thought it was going to be this easy, to be honest. I thought it would be like at least 10 teams lining up to get him, but it looks like he already picked Arsenal a long time ago, and there was basically no need for any other team to try and come in for VIKTOR Gyokeres, because they knew he already wanted to join Arsenal in no other team. He's already given up his money to join Arsenal. All that has helped us, because, again, if the player didn't truly just want to join Arsenal, again, it would have been tough for us to get the deal, because the player would have been like, hey, are you guys serious about getting me, pay the money, get me to Arsenal? But no, because they had a disagreement with the Sporting president, and he really wanted to join Arsenal. He's been pushing for the move. He's making phone calls, almost convinced his agent to pay that money so that he can join Arsenal. I'm pretty sure the agent looked at it and he was like, hey, there's no need to carry on. Let's just get you this dream move. And they agreed with Andrea Bat, and they've agreed to pay that money to get Gyokeres to Arsenal. So that is big. That is according to Florian Plettenberg. One phone call to Mikel Arteta helped as well. So that is great that he wants to come and work with the manager. Fabrizio says the deal between Arsenal and Sporting for VIKTOR Gyokeres is now being sealed tonight with all parties involved. After agents' decision to reduce his 10% compensation, Arsenal will pay initial fee worth 63.5 million plus 10 million in add-ons being completed. Here we go soon. So we're going to get that here we go from Fabrizio very soon. I'm not sure he's not giving us that here we go yet, but as Sammy Mokbel said, there's few details, minor details being finalized, obviously, before we get that here we go. But Gyokeres now, we can confidently say is going to be an Arsenal player, as confirmed by many journalists, and Sporting themselves have confirmed it, as David Austin said. Sporting have confirmed that they now have that agreement. So it's now just Arsenal finalizing and the final details for him to join Arsenal. So that is absolutely great news. Next up, there were so many updates. This time, Ben Jacobs had this to say. Arsenal expected to pay an initial fee of 63.5 million euros for VIKTOR Gyokeres, the further 10 million in add-ons. Sporting no longer have to pay 10 million, 10% agent commission, which was required in the original 80 million package. The removal of this has allowed Arsenal to pay a lower fixed fee, which Sporting received while Sporting received the same funds due to not having to deduct a now waived commission. Now add-ons being finalized. So that's just completing the add-ons and all that, so that you can finally get the deal announced this week. The player can start traveling for his medical, and we can finally have a striker that we've been waiting for 4 years. So that is the latest from all of the updates. Hand of Arsenal also say that the club is shocked by how much Gyökeres has pushed for the move, how much the agent has pushed for the move. So we are all shocked, man. We've never seen anyone giving up their own money, double, not just the player himself, the agent as well, giving up their own money for the player to join the team. That is absolutely crazy. That is fantastic. So I cannot wait for him to finally get announced as an Arsenal player, and how we're going to line up, how it's going to motivate the rest of the players. And imagine Saka and Odegaard now looking at Gyökeres as an Arsenal player and thinking, wow, imagine all the assists we're going to get. That is absolutely phenomenal. So Gyökeres to Arsenal, done deal, fee agreed, absolutely fantastic. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.